Get ready, please.
It's Matthew Pinson, the umpire. The Diamond Jubilee Challenge Cup for Junior Girls Quadruple Sculls comes underway under starters' orders.
Go.
And away now. Latymer Upper School on the left of your pitcher. Y-Quad Cities Rowing Association, United States of America from Illinois. Two classy junior girls quad schools. Looking sharper because they have not having to steer so much steering now, though. Commentators curse there. Latymer Upper had the better of the first 75 meters, but looking at Y-Quad Cities also veering off to the left here. Lots of movement in the water. You've got them looking at, being aware that the crosswind is coming in from the left over, so trying to position your boats there. But the early stages now around the 250-meter mark, away from Temple Island. Y-Quad Cities Rowing Association by a couple of feet.
And it's only a couple of feet at this stage. Latymer Upper are actually looking to come back a little bit there. I think their steering move off the start cost them a little bit there. They should be familiar with the course. They were here a few weeks ago for Henley Women's Regatta, got to the final of that. Of course, Henley Women's Regatta is held over the first portion of the Henley course, so they know what it's like to be sitting there on the start line at Henley. But Y-Quad Cities moving very nicely indeed. Slightly higher rate than Latymer Upper.
So it's giving them the lead, but will it give them enough lead? Remember, the higher rate taking more of it out of you. This is a long, long course, particularly in the junior event here. Still good speed though, 3/4 of a length. And really, when you get to this, you get to the 3/4 mark, it's a combination of keeping calm and continue with your race pattern, but also the next move has got to be a decisive move, because the next move is to go to a length and break free here. So now they're just thinking about moving out, as they have done now. Look at that, Y-Quad Cities Rowing Association jumping ahead now of Latymer Upper School. They haven't waited for the barrier. They've decided to go early, and they have been rewarded for their bravery. There is clear water now as Y-Quad City Rowing Association just moves out. We're on board the overhead drone as we just look at this picture. Fantastic there. Down at the start, the Temple Island to the right of your picture there. That's the start, way back. So they're now heading towards Forley, traditionally the halfway mark.
Really good sculling from both of these crews here. I thought that was really interesting, that move, Gary, because I always think you've got to have a race plan, but then there's tactics as well, isn't there? And I think, was that tactics or was that a planned move? I think it could have been tactics. They looked, they saw, right, let's go. And now look, you've made that decision. And at Henley, that can be crucial. Different on a multi-lane course where your move might be countered by another crew over the far side. But Henley, make that decision. Look at the other crew. And there's got to be somebody in that crew, in that Y-Quads crew, who's going to be making those calls.
I mean, the great thing, Tom, if you've got 6-lane, multi-lane racing, 2,000 meters, the distance was never going to be like this, because you're not fighting one, you're fighting 5, and you're looking left, looking right, being aware. But this is the gladiatorial nature of Henley. It's psychologically, you close the door, and then you just drive it, and you can drive it again here. Big statements are being made, and that's the draw. That's why people come to Henley.
And there's nothing else like it. There's nothing else quite like it. It is a jewel, as you say. Fantastic experience for these scullers, and these young scullers as well. It's learning. It's a learning process in some of these junior events.
So Y-Quad Cities Rowing Association USA making their Henley debut, and they are doing it in some style here on a balmy Friday evening in Henley. Looking down the course here, that is what it's all about when you're in that crew. And Elizabeth Sharis, World Junior Silver Medalist in 2013 in the Women's Quadruple Scull. She's stroking this crew. Plenty of experience. She's backed up by Caroline Sharis, their sisters, I believe. Emily Dellerman, 2014, last year, World Junior. She was 7th in the junior quad. Both the stroke girl, Elizabeth and Emily, in the quadruple scull for the United States of America, the World Championships later this year, already selected, and Gabby Scheimer in the bow seat here. As we look at Latymer Upper, Georgina Heller, Tim in the bow seat there. And Latymer don't look bad at all. You know, they look all right, Tom.
Looking very neat indeed. Perhaps just not enough going through the water. Why Quad City's just a little bit more punch going into each stroke. But Latymer looking very neat, and a real credit to their school and their sculling, looking very good indeed.
In the multi-lane racing this year, they were finalists, but they were placed 6th in the Championship Girl Quads in that multi-lane race. So it's, again, young crew, all about gaining experience, and there is no finer venue to gain experience than at Henley.
Beautiful conditions late on in the evening here. Many moons ago that I was coxing here, but when I was, we often had some races later on in the day, and really relished that actually, because it gives you the opportunity to perhaps go out for a paddle earlier in the day. You can get your nutrition sorted, and then you come back to slightly calmer conditions, often a little bit less heat. You could really perform very well in these later races. So although some people prefer a middle of the day slot, I think an evening slot for the athletes.
Yeah, always loved racing on the evening.
Fantastic.
So we're coming now into the general enclosure. Still supporters here, and rightly so, because this is the event, the Diamond Jubilee Challenge Cup, the newest event. This is in its 4th year now for junior girls quadruple sculls. They've come a long way from Illinois. Y Quad Cities Rowing Association. They were winners of the women's quad at the US National Championships this year. Plenty of international experience on board. They must be just loving being out there, and particularly so as they look back and they see Sir Matthew Pinson, the umpire of this race. They can say he started us, but we finished it. This is the Diamond Jubilee Challenge Cup here, coming along the stewards' enclosure, and still the crowds very appreciative. The noise coming off the bank here. Debbie Scheimer, Emily Delman, Caroline Sharis, Elizabeth Sharis in the stroke seats. The junior quads, lovely tight technique here, boat running on. They have got the pleasure of the middle of the water here, the middle of the course. And listen to that there, rightly so. It's a fantastic job here. Latymer upper being pushed on hard also by the home crowd. But it will be to no avail here. Katie Woolley in the stroke seat, Jess McGrath at 3, Helen Essex at 2, Georgia Helen, Tim in the bow seat. But today it's all about Y Quad City Rowing Association through to the semi-finals by about a quarter of a length Clearwater over Latymer upper. Y Quad Cities Rowing Association showing the stewards of this regatta why this event is just going to get better and better. And it was the right event to add to the programme.